Shalom, shalom. All honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers at Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which was given to him by the mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom, Akim and Akwa. We one day closer to the kingdom. And each day, more truth comes out, Israel. Now we're going to see what the scoffers got to say about this. The Christian apologists and the so-called African-American scoffers that's coming against the men of the Lord. Explain this one, because their tongue continues to fall upon themselves. Who is that? The Edomites. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976. Allowances made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use. Let me show that again right quick just in case, because this news clip from the Jimmy Dore show. Most shame for spewing on their glory. Let me take this off. Go back to the KJV. Right? I don't need that. I was looking for something. Hold on. Cancel. Shalaki, Israel. Proverbs 14 and 11. The house of the wicked shall be overthrown, Shalaki. But the tabernacle of the upright shall flourish. That's what we're seeing right now. They overthrowing the house of the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. Right? There is a way which seemeth right unto a man, but the end thereof are the ways of death. Everybody's starting to wake up. Right? Continue. Verse 15. The simple believeth every word, but the prudent man looketh well to his going. Now, we've been bringing out the fact that some people that's over there in the land currently in Western Asia, what they call the Middle East, that's got a 5-front war going on, they are not the children of the Lord. They are the wicked that the Bible speaks of, right? Salakia. Hold up. Proverbs 15 and 3. The eyes of Yahweh are in every place, beholding the evil and the good. We focusing on the evil today. Hold on, let me get this. There it is. Hold up. I can get either one of these. I'm going to get 16 and 5, though. Right? Proverbs 16 and 5. Hold on. Yeah, we'll go up to 4. Proverbs 16 and 4. Yahweh hath made all things for himself, even the wicked for the day of evil. That's for these Edomites. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahweh. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. You sure ain't getting out of this one, Esau. Let me see something. Right? This is what's going on right now. Mark 3, I'm starting at 23. And he called them unto him and said unto them in parables, how can Satan cast out Satan? And if a kingdom be divided against itself, that kingdom cannot stand. And if a house be divided against itself, that house cannot stand. And if Satan rise up against Satan and be divided, he cannot stand but have an end. You at the end, Esau. Everybody is turning on your ass. Even your own people. So if your own people turn on you, how can you be anti? What are they? Let me see something. Wait a minute. Let's get the definition of Satan, right?
Strong's G, 4567, Satanas. Satanas.
Satanas.
Thayer's Lexicon,
Salaki.
Satan.
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 Satan. Adversary, one who opposes another in purpose or act. The name given to the prince of evil spirits, the inveterate adversary of the Most High Power and Hamashiach. He incites apostasy from the Most High Power and to sin, circumventing men by his wiles. The worshippers of idols are said to be under his control. By his demons, he is able to take possession of men and inflict them with diseases. By the Most High Power's assistance, he is overcome. On Hamashiach's return from heaven, he will be bound with chains for 1,000 years. But when the 1,000 years are finished, he will, that's old. He will walk the earth in yet greater power, but shortly after will be given over to eternal punishment. A Satan-like man. Who is a Satan-like man? Who's the man on earth that's a direct adversary to the will of the Most High Power, the Almighty Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai? The current people that's walking around calling themselves white. So the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, right? The prince of evil spirits is who? The modern day so-called white man. In the Bible, known as the Edomites, Esau, Edom, the Idumeans. Let's get this. I'm sure it's in 55. Yeah, I think it's 64. Shalaki. Yeah. Psalm 64 and 2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity, who whet their tongue like a sword and bend their bows to shoot their arrows, even bitter words. Let me jump down. They encourage themselves, verse 5, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They act like what's going on, that genocide and them purposely starving the people out of Palestine, that don't nobody see that. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep. But the Most High Power shall shoot at them with an arrow. Suddenly shall they be wounded. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. All that see them shall flee away. These Edomites, man. Now watch, check this out. Let's listen to this. Hope it don't get struck. But this y'all people. I want to know where the scoffers at. Where the scoffers at? Explain to us, the men of the Lord, they're saying that the so-called African American, Latino, and Native American are the 12 tribes of Israel. But yet, you got one group of people saying that there's one tribe that's over there, and it's their right to be there. Why y'all ain't questioning them? I can't wait to see what what's his name? No Class Malone got to say about this. They ain't even going to address this. Not even none of the so-called Negro scoffers that's been coming at us. Check this out. We only got to play 6 minutes. Fair use is in full effect.
So obviously, guys, we've been closely covering the famine and starvation that is unfolding at the hands of the Israelis in the Gaza Strip. And there's been an effort to erase those horrific conditions by Israel's defenders. We covered some of that yesterday. President himself, though, saying, no, it's real. The hunger is real. Let's take a listen to that.
Can I ask about the First Lady? You mentioned a couple of weeks ago her role in talking to you about the war in Ukraine, and perhaps a big part of your evolution in thinking. Have you discussed the crisis in Gaza and the terrible...
I have, and she thinks it's terrible, and she sees the same pictures that you see, and that we all see, and I think everybody, unless they're pretty cold-hearted, or worse than that, nuts. There's nothing you can say other than it's terrible when you see the kids. And those are kids, whether they talk starvation or not, those are kids that are starving. They are starving. And you see the...
So, like, we're going to pause it for a second for the hypocrisy of DJ. The man is full of pride. The ones that's funding the people that's committing the genocide. And look how he talking like he against them. But you funding them with money and military aid.
Mothers, they love them so much, and there's just nothing they seem to be able to do. They got to get them food.
So he acknowledges the starvation. Of course, the most critical part that's left out of that, Emily, is the culpability, which is both Israel and ours. And so, he claims he wants to get aid.
Ours meaning the U.S., Babylon the Great. And you wonder why the scriptures read, you will be despised among men. And the least of the flock shall draw them out. The book of Obadiah, Jeremiah 49:20.
And we also have reporting that he's done absolutely nothing to pressure Netanyahu on any point, and indeed has told him at numerous occasions, do what you got to do, and has backed this ethnic cleansing plan that is being implemented right now, of which the starvation is a key component.
The Wall Street Journal actually did a graphic yesterday of food getting into Gaza, and you can see under Donald Trump's watch over the last 6 months that this is a problem, particularly for his administration. As harsh as we were on the Biden administration, these problems are happening under Donald Trump's watch now, even as last summer he criticized Netanyahu for his quote-unquote public relations problem in this case. So right now, if Donald Trump does not want to see these images coming out of Gaza, even as journalists aren't allowed into Gaza, that's another important point, then he actually has a lot of power to pressure Benjamin Netanyahu to make it stop. So that's the test that's been failed under the Trump administration recently, but it's the test that's continuing to run, that he can prove us wrong, he can change course.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think it's worth reminding people that we did have a ceasefire deal, in the terms of which were sort of originally laid out by the Biden administration. The Trump administration is able to secure it. And Netanyahu was always saying, when he agreed to that deal, well, we're not going to go past phase one. Basically, we're going to have a pause, we're going to regroup, and then we're going to go right back to war, death, destruction, starvation. The only person who could have made sure that that deal was actually enforced and a ceasefire to this genocide was actually, took hold, and we moved to something other than genocide, ethnic cleansing, starvation, et cetera, was Donald Trump. And instead, he greenlit the Israelis backing out of that deal, blowing it up, and going right back to, effectuating what we're seeing right now. It seems, Emily, like there's been, and we've covered some of this before, but it does seem like there's been a real break in the culture. And you hear voices, people who are willing to speak out and speak out more stridently. One of those people is Jon Stewart, who had on Peter Beinart to talk about.
Hear what he said? Stewart, that's a 48 faker. He a part of them. Now they're starting to turn on each other. That's why I read those scriptures.
What was unfolding in Gaza. And it's not that Jon Stewart hasn't been critical at all before, but I think some of the strength of his language here was notable. So let's take a listen to that.
I feel like I'm watching something that is so self-evidently inhumane and horrific and to be told that I have to shut up because I risk the Jewish state by speaking out, I would say the opposite. I think not. I think they're putting the likelihood of a surviving Jewish state much more at risk with this type of action. I think they're the ones that are being anti. If you want to define Netanyahu, with the definition of anti-Semitism, would probably have to bomb himself. But there's an urgency about it now because, like, you right now in the situation, we can't be like, but Jews are not getting along with other Jews. Like, that's not the important thing right now.
Absolutely.
How is the world not stepping in?
Right.
And stopping this atrocity? I don't understand this in any way, shape, or form.
I mean, it's not
boggling my mind.
It's worse than just not.
The world can't step in because the world is controlled and ran by who? Which would be another direct indicator that they are not the children of the Most High Power, because we will be the tail. The children of the Lord are the tail, the meek of the earth. As you can see, the people that's over there now, they are the head. They dictate the laws with unrighteous decrees. You can't say nothing about them, because if you do, you're going to get sanctioned. They sanctioning individuals now, right? Or you're going to get your ass locked up, or they might just eliminate you. So where the scoffers at now?
Stepping in, it's our weapons that are enforcing this siege. That is enforcing
this. In any way, how is the world not stepping in?
Western hegemony weapons.
And
right, from France, Germany, the UK, America.
Stopping this atrocity. Right now in this situation, we can't be like, but Jews are not getting along with other Jews. Like, that's not the important thing right now.
Absolutely.
How is the world not stepping in?
Right.
And stopping this atrocity? I don't understand this in any way, shape, or form. I mean, it's not boggling my mind.
It's worse than just not stepping in. It's our weapons that are enforcing this siege. That is enforcing this mass starvation.
It's a siege. It's a military siege.
Yes, that we are deeply complicit in. It could not happen without us.
And John Stewart's a liberal, Peter Beinart's a liberal. I think that's part of why, Peter Beinart is accepted in these sort of like mainstream liberal spaces, which is, I think, part of why he's been such an important voice. And there's a portion of this interview where, John Stewart says something like, basically like, listen, I don't know every single in and out of what's happened over all of these many years, but I know what I'm seeing and I have a moral clarity around it. And I think that part is very important because that has previously been the way that liberals have been sort of shut down. It's very easy to say, like, you don't it's complicated and you just don't understand all the ins and the outs and you need to study history for 8.
Now watch this. Listen to what she finna say.
18 years before you can dare have an opinion. You don't it's complicated and you just don't understand all the ins and the outs and you need to study history for 18 years before you can dare have an opinion on this. And I just think at this point, Emily, that has been so thoroughly rejected because people go, no, I can see what's happening. It's wrong. And I don't need to know what happened in, June of 1948 or whatever to understand that bombing and murdering children and starving them to death and denying baby formula and medicine and turning the entire Gaza Strip into rubble. I don't need to know everything about this to know that thing that I'm seeing right now is wrong. It actually reminds me of the Tim Dillon bit on this.
That's all we need from Nick. Let's get something out of Obadiah. Since the world, as she said, ain't nobody like John Stewart said, ain't nobody doing nothing. Guess who doing something? The Lord. He just building it up for y'all ass, boy. Y'all finna get fucked up. Let me get this. The day of Yahweh and the future. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. If y'all didn't know, the Edomites, they heathens. The Amalekites, they heathens. Modern day terms, these 48 fakers, you can't say who they are for real. They heathens. For the day of Yahweh is near upon all the heathen. As thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. Right? So now it's reports coming out that these folks, the IDF, the military over there, at them distribution centers, the humanitarian distribution centers, where they got snipers positioned. They holding something like what they calling the Squid Games. They take different days of the week to target a particular body part on the Palestinians. So on Monday, they might just do headshots. On Tuesday, they doing gut shots. But the vile thing is, like on Wednesday, this all reported now. You can fact check this. They had a day where they was just shooting males, between young males, teenage males to early adult males in their 20s, shooting them in the testicles. How wicked are these people? Ain't nobody saying nothing. Ain't no scoffers that talking to them, right? So right now, the Israelites, men of the Lord, starting with GMS and their affiliates, and all the other camps, the destruction that they have put in the earth is zero. Now, what about them folks that's claiming they're the children of the Lord? They got reports saying there's over 400,000 Palestinians that have been exterminated. Count the ones that they killed, the people they killed in Lebanon, right? The people they killed in Syria, in Yemen, in Iran. Micah 2 and 3. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, behold, against this family do I devise an evil. What family? Esau, Edom, from which ye shall not remove your necks, neither shall you go haughtily, for this time is evil. That's how you got coming, baby. As it is written, prepare a slaughter for his children. And we're going to see how y'all like that. So guess what, Israel? Let's see who's going to respond. What scoffers? Let's see what No Class Malone going to say. We one day closer to the kingdom. Shalom. Shalaki, Israel. That was breaking points. Not to Jimmy Dorso. But we can add something to Jimmy Dorso. Once again, fair use is in full effect.
I was just showing you this so you can see what the face of evil is. This is evil. This is Hitler-esque evil. I think at this stage, he says, the only thing you should be sending to Gaza is shells. To bomb, to conquer, and encourage immigration. Another term for that is ethnic cleansing. Have you seen the headline? It started yesterday. Netanyahu allows humanitarian pause. Increased aid to Gaza. Really? He's going to have a humanitarian pause? Yeah. Well, I'm sure it's cool to take him at his word. I mean, Netanyahu was on Nelk Boys, so it's totally real.
The Nelk Boys looked into his eyes and felt he was telling the truth.
This is a very rare change in policy. Israel has decided to cease temporarily the humanitarian aid coming into Gaza. And when I say cease temporarily, I mean they never had any intention of doing anything but killing everybody everywhere in Gaza. That's what they're doing. Starting at 10 a.m. Sunday, that was yesterday. So today's Monday, that was yesterday. The IDF implemented a temporary humanitarian pause in several areas of the Gaza Strip, including the north, to facilitate the delivery of aid. Really? I don't think so. Just in, Israel Minister Ben-Gvir calls Netanyahu morally bankrupt for allowing aid into Gaza and demands that the starvation of Palestinians continue. The only thing to send into Gaza is shells. You want to hear him say it?
Yes.
I think, by the way, I think we're officially at the evil turns on itself phase of Zionism and Golem leadership. I think.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Okay. So, here we go. It is morally bankrupt approach. While our hostages are in Gaza, our prime minister is sending humanitarian aid to Gaza. I think at this stage, the only thing you should be sending is Gaza is shells, bomb, conquer, encourage immigration, and win the war.
You'll win. They're going to send shells to Hamas so that Hamas can attack again and they can do another fake thing so they can kill more people. How about that? They sent them shells the first time. That's what Netanyahu did.
So, That's all they're doing. This is and the Israeli regime. So this is just. I mean, if you could see this guy as an Israeli minister and saying it's morally bankrupt to give aid to starving children,
Yeah.
and he said, "What we should do is just bomb them."
Well, he's the master race. Do you understand?
So
this is
this-
like Hitler shit.
This is a guy who was originally, 15 years ago, the Israeli government declared that he was a terrorist.
Yeah, his group assassinated the prime minister of Israel.
Yeah.
And Netanyahu is so corrupt, he ran into the arms of a terrorist, according to Israel and America. That Fox is not going to mention that that's who backs him.
That's right.
A little bit even worse than Peter Thiel as far as an outright psychopath.
That's all we need from that. They maniacs. But yet, nobody say nothing. So we're going to jump back up to 1 and 2. Micah 2 and 1. Woe to oppressors, because that's what they're doing. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. And they covet fields and take them by violence. Ain't that what they doing right now? You heard what their leader just said. He used to be a terrorist in houses and take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. We one day close to the kingdom. Shalom again. Shalaki for that, Israel.